You're now listening to the Stronger Inside podcast, where we break down all things regarding health, fitness, and wellness to help you improve your mind, body, and environment. And now, your host, Wayne, a.k.a. Workout with Wayne and Ernest, a.k.a. Mr. 100 Pounds Down.
Let me get right into it and introduce myself. I've been a lifelong athlete. I played college basketball. Post basketball, I went into the fitness industry, starting in the gym sales, and then went into management. After that, I went into personal training. I've been a personal trainer for 6 years. I started in the big box gyms, and I have been an independent contractor at a private studio for the last almost 5 years. The name of my business is Workout with Wayne. I've trained hundreds of clients in the Northern Virginia area. And a side note, I am a father, and my son will be 5 in about a month. Ernest, tell me about yourself.
What's going on, folks? I'm Ernest Hughes. I'm an office worker. No real sports experience outside of high school. Played sports all through high school, football, basketball, track, mostly the field events. Since I've been working out with Wayne, I recently lost 100 pounds.
100 pounds.
100, yes. It's probably over 100 now, but I don't got to get on the scale until tomorrow. So we're not worried about that right now. I'm a father of one. My son just turned 4 a couple days ago. Married for about 8 years. And, just working out with Wayne has been a blessing in disguise for me. I didn't expect it to go this well, but I didn't expect it to go this well, but I am pleased with the results, and I look forward to, continuing to improve.
Good. To give our listeners some context on how we know each other, our relationship is not just trainer-client. Me and Ernest have been friends since about 15, 16, similar group of friends. We did not go to the same high school, but we have known each other that long, and I was honored to be the best man in Ernest's wedding. So I've been training not only Ernest, but him and his wife for maybe at least 18 months now.
Yep.
So, we have a friendship and a trainer-client relationship, and now a business relationship doing this project, the Stronger Inside podcast. For us to further introduce ourselves to the clients, not clients, I'm so used to using that word, listeners.
Yeah.
It is let's introduce each other, and that way we'll have a more unbiased opinion and an unbiased introduction. So Ernest, I'll let you introduce me, and then I'll follow up behind that. How about that?
All right. Yeah, no problem. So Wayne is I would say a self-starter. He is an entrepreneur. He has drive and the passion for physical fitness, health, wellness. Nothing that I've seen in my personal life before it meets or exceeds his level of drive for this. It is important to know that he is going to give it to you straight, no chaser. Yeah, no sugarcoat, none of that. He's going to tell you like it is, but that is the benefit of him because it doesn't leave room for ambiguity. It doesn't leave room for misinterpretation. It's like this is what you have to do if you want to get to where you want to be. You set this goal for yourself. I didn't set this goal for you. Follow this plan and get to where you want to be. When it comes to his training, when it comes to him just as a person, he's the same way. He's fun. He's fun loving. He's going to give it. We're going to have a good time when we're together. But if you need advice or you need information, he's going to give it to you straight. He's a great father. He's a great friend. And that's my guy.
Oh, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Got me tearing up over here.
There's a Kleenex behind you, I think.
Oh, man. So Ernest, I would say about Ernest is a people person, a family first person, somebody with a big heart, and does put others before himself, which is a great trait to have. So Ernest is very active, very competitive, and we've done everything from basketball to, even back when I played video games. That's how long we've known each other, to the Maddens and the 2Ks and all those different things. So we have a good, healthy friendship of competitive nature. That's what Ernest is. And Ernest is somebody who is a hard worker and is able to complete the task put forth. And that's why he's having so much success within this personal journey of health and fitness. So Ernest is going to, as I said, he is a people person. So he may give a message a little more, I guess, a little nicer. He may sugarcoat some things. He may give you a chaser,
Hey,
or a mixed drink.
hey.
So I am, the straight shot, and Ernest is the nice mixed drink with the umbrella in there. So either way, you're going to get to the same place. It's just going to be a little different process.
Don't forget the pineapple.
The pineapple. There you go. So that kind of takes us to the reason why we started this podcast. That's who we both are and our natures. And for us to start this podcast and Ernest to start his journey, we had a conversation, and that began the process. So Ernest, go ahead, and I will let you tell the listeners what that conversation was.
So it was a conversation where Wayne reached out to me, and he pretty much said that I was not taking care of myself the way that I needed to be doing. And he had started his business, and in his business model, he has seen his clients transform. And he's looking at himself and he's looking at me, and he says, I have the tools to help my friend. My friend is not reaching out to me to get these tools. Let me take it upon me to reach out to him to offer these tools to him. At that point, I was probably either pushing 4 or over 400 pounds, and I didn't have any health issues at the time, as far as, going to the doctor and high blood pressure or things like that. So I wasn't looking to make a change necessarily. I in the back of my mind, I knew I needed to. Yeah. I knew I didn't like what I saw when I looked in the mirror. I knew I wasn't being the best husband for my wife. I wasn't giving her the best of me. And at that point, my son was probably about 18 months to 2 years old.
Okay.
And I wasn't giving the best to him, and as he gets older, there's going to be times where I want to be able to be more active with him, and I want to be able to enjoy sports with him and go out there and throw the football around or chase him around and stuff like that. And at 400 plus,
yeah,
that was going to be hard. That was going to be hard to do, right? And so after that conversation with Wayne, told it to me, hey, like you got to do something, right? Because I want you around, and your family needs you around for the long haul. So after that, I sat down with my wife, talked to her, let him know, Wayne pretty much called me and told me I was fat. he didn't things. He didn't use those words, but that's what I told my wife. I was like, that's pretty much what it was, right? And so I was like, I think we got to do something. So at that point, she was on her own journey with her sisters, and I think she was doing Weight Watchers or something at the time. And so I knew I didn't want to do that. And so at that moment, I was like, well, let me figure out what I want to do, right? So instead of leaning in on Wayne, I told him, all right, yeah, I got you. I hear you. Let me see what I can do. And so I think maybe a couple weeks later went by, and he hit me up again. He's like, so what you been doing? I said, man, it's been hard to get to the gym. I haven't really had a chance to go to the gym, because I pick my son. I drop my son off early in the morning, then we got to pick him up, and then I got to make sure he's this, that, and the third. So I'm coming to all these lists of reasons why I didn't go to the gym.
Reasons, excuses, same potato, same thing.
I thought I was telling the story. I didn't know. Is it my okay? So then he says, okay, I understand that because people's lives are busy. I was like, yeah. So I was like, I dodged that bullet. Then his next question was, what you been eating now? I said, huh? So yeah, well, what have you been eating? Like, how have you changed? Have you changed what you've been consuming, your calorie intake? And I said, well, no, I didn't. I thought going to the gym was the most important part. He was like, well, no, it's not. And so that's kind of when he brought that up to me. That's when it kind of clicked, and I said, all right, I don't know what I'm doing. I need someone that can teach me, train me, and show me what I need to be doing in order to be effective at and efficient at this process. I can no longer make excuses or come up with reasons. And I need to do this for not only myself, but for my family. And so that's when I kind of really reached out and said, hey, I want to start doing this. When can we start officially?
Okay. Yeah, it was really you making a decision. I may have influenced or twist your arm, but at the end of the day, I can't make anybody do anything. So you sat down with yourself, you looked in the mirror, you had a discussion with your family, and you said, "Hey, I'm ready. I am ready." And that's what started this process and allowed you to be where you are right now. And that takes us to the name of the podcast, Stronger Inside. And you made that decision to make a change, and that was inside yourself. There's no for you to start the process and really start making those changes to feeling better, to making better decisions, to having better nutrition, to having a better inner voice. All those things came from within, and nobody from the outside even seen those until weeks and weeks and months later of the work that you put in.
Right.
So the change and the good feelings and all those things all start and stem from what comes from inside you. And that's why we'll have a lot of different topics here, but they will all revolve around health, fitness, wellness, so that we can improve our mind, body, and environment, because they are all connected. So for your body to be changing, clearly your mind is changed. And
Yep.
for your mind to change, you had to make some changes in your environment.
Right.
They're all connected. So I think now that you've had so much success, and I've been able to help a lot of people and do that through my business, we can use our voices to help other people who may be thinking about starting, or they are within their journey alone, or they're just looking for tips. Either way, we're going to be able to help some people because of the experience we both have and the voices that we both have and different perspectives. So if
Yes.
somebody thinks I'm a mean guy, they'll like you. You'll be the nice guy,
Yeah.
or vice versa. But it's a lot of difference in perspective, but we're at the end of the day, we're usually on the same page.
Yes.
So let's start off our first podcast, our first topic. What's that going to be, Ernest?
All right. So the first topic that we're going to talk about is, why should you hire a trainer?
Okay. I guess we could jump right into it, Ernest. Why did you hire me?
So I hired you because I needed accountability. I needed someone that was going to make me accountable for my laziness, make me accountable for what I was eating. I needed someone that was going to continue to help motivate me. It can be hard to listen to that same voice, whether it be your inner voice or whether it be, your girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, what have you, that's kind of pushing you and kind of doing that. So sometimes it takes someone from outside to kind of help you see what you need to be doing more clearly. I wanted to make sure that I was investing in myself financially. A financial investment in myself is another reason why I thought it was important, because when you spend money on something, you want to get the most out of it.
Definitely.
Right? And so I figured putting money forth allowed me to say, hey, I paid for this. I'm going to work this to the best of my ability. Because if you're not, you're kind of just throwing money. You're just throwing money away, and that's something that I can't afford to do. Right. So those were some of the main things. And I had a goal. That I wanted to be more healthy. I wanted to be healthier. And so in order to reach that goal, after that second conversation we had, I realized that I didn't know what I was doing. And so in order to reach that goal, I needed someone that could put a plan forth to help me achieve those goals. I think the first goal we had, I think when first time we met, you showed me the chart and was like, you're not on the chart. And so the first goal was to get on the chart. And so I needed to get on that body fat percentage chart. And so that was the first goal. Also, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And so I wanted to make sure that I could get into a place where this health and fitness became second nature to me.
Yeah.
I'm not, but I feel like I've made leaps and bounds and strides from when I started to where I'm at now. And so as I continue to progress on down the road, I hope to get to a point where, I can look at a plate of food and understand, the percentages of protein to fats to carbs and things like that. And I can kind of mentally calculate those things so that I understand what I'm putting in my body.
Yeah, that's a huge point right there. I don't know what I don't know. And that takes a lot for somebody to say that, because it means you are humble and you do respect the expertise or the professional aspect of what somebody does. So for you to say, I'm going into this looking for accountability, which a lot of people are, but for you to say this is a process and I'm ready to learn, that's why you've had success. You didn't look at it as, I'm going to start a class where I'm just going to be locked in for 45 minutes, an hour, and then when I leave, I'm going to resume doing the things that I've been doing. And for you to pretty much use this as a curriculum, something like that, to where now you have obtained this knowledge and you're not going to forget it. These are things that are going to stick with you. And then now you are a healthier person because you have acquired not only the knowledge, but also the skills. And that's why, and that's what you should be getting from a trainer or a high quality program. It should be a lot of knowledge, but then also coaching that allows you to acquire skills that will stick with you. So of course, the accountability and the check-ins and all those things, and the information on the training side, but the coaching side and the lifestyle habit-based style is so important, and what things that you will get from a trainer versus, you downloading a program, or maybe having a coworker who knows a little bit of something and you actually work out with them. And that's going to be the difference right there.
Right.
For some other people that have different reasons for hiring a trainer, there are people who have performance goals. So whether they be a athlete, high school athlete, college athlete, there's people who want to improve their testing or just qualify for some of these government agency testing, military testing. And then you have people who are weekend warriors, and then, they play flag football, they play basketball, maybe 30 plus, and they want to get in better shape, or just get in shape so that they're not being injured, or they can actually gauge their performance on the field or the court or whatever they're doing. So, or the ice. I mean, I've trained people who played hockey and different things. So there's a wide variety of different things people do. And when you can say, hey, I can see myself getting better in performance, then you know that the training is paying off. So with your goal, Ernest, your goal was to lose weight, lose body fat. That's the number one reason. So the lifestyle change in terms of getting healthy, it goes hand in hand with the losing weight. But majority of the people and the people who reach out to me that I get, it's going to be lose weight and tie that in with the overall healthy lifestyle. Nobody wants to continue buying different size clothes and other things like that will cost you some money. Let me ask you this. Do you feel like prior to the change you made, there were things that were actually costing you money by having the more unhealthy lifestyle?
Yeah. So there were times where, when we would go on, like I remember specifically, I went on a missions trip, I think in 2018.
Okay.
Went on a missions trip. So we went on missions trips. They provided shirts for everybody on the missions trip.
Okay.
But so they didn't have any shirts that could fit me. I didn't have a shirt that could fit me. So I had to go out and purchase my own shirt that was like a similar color to everyone else's shirt. And so not only did it stand out because my shirt didn't have, the design on it or anything like that, it was just, a similar color to everyone
Okay.
else's. So it stood out that, that this guy doesn't have can't fit this shirt. It also, it was another added expense for me because everyone else had their shirt provided, or in the cost of the mission trip, you pay for that shirt anyway.
Okay.
So I had a shirt, but it just couldn't fit me. So I had to then purchase another shirt. So it was one of those things where, at the time, because you're kind of still going through it and you're not really thinking, you're like, oh, this is just another thing I got to do. So it's something else I gotta deal with. Then you have the when you go to the stores, they don't have your size. So a lot of things you have to either go to specialty stores, big and tall, or you have to order online. And when you order online, sometimes the quality isn't that great, or because you don't get to feel and touch what you're buying.
Yeah.
So you have to deal with that also. But it was the cost of doing business at the time, right?
Okay.
So, but now it's a lot better. Shopping online is still sometimes it can be more advantageous when it comes.
But what about any other aspect of life that you feel like was just not even in that arena, but just somewhere else that was actually costing you money by having that lifestyle?
Yeah, well, buying food, shopping, not preparing food at home, and buying a lunch at fast food restaurants, or just the run of the mill going to the convenience stores at the job and buying little things. That was very much so an added expense. When we stopped doing that, I think we realized we were saving maybe $100 a week or more.
Wow.
Just not buying that stuff. So that's $400 a month.
There you go.
Yeah. So when you can cut those things out, it's definitely a better saving. You might spend more at the grocery store, but it's still not going to be as much as you would spend at buying, a double cheeseburger, large fries, and a milkshake.
A value meal.
Yeah, man.
So I wanted to tie that into where somebody might say, well, I cannot afford a personal trainer. There are different levels of trainers, and different people have different pricing structures. But when you enter this to learn, whether you're doing once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, once every 2 weeks, you're still going to be able to learn. And by making those health and lifestyle changes, you will be able to use that money that you're saving other places, and you could apply that to a personal trainer or a fitness program or something like that. So
Absolutely.
Just wanted to kind of change that perspective into where, there are things that are expensive. We all have other things that we need to pay for in life. We have families and things like that, but we do, and we can find ways to invest in ourselves, because we do all spend money on things that maybe we don't necessarily need, or, whether it be entertainment or food or things like that. So It can be done. It can be done. In terms of hiring a trainer location wise, me and Ernest are not neighbors. We do not live in the same zip code.
No, not at all.
For Ernest to train with me, that takes us to another point. We were training once a week, with your wife as well. And that was on weekends. We train on a Saturday, and you would have your program for the week. So let them know your process, Ernest, and how that took you from once you decided to start this, the changes that you need to make to not only just travel, but, go ahead and talk about that.
So for us, we have when we first started, we had a 2-year-old. And so for us to train with Wayne, we had to find childcare, right? So it wasn't just us investing in this fitness and health change, lifestyle change. It was our family and our friends also. So we had to enlist our mothers or our sisters to watch our child while we were training, because Wayne was about 45 minutes up the road. And so it was, as you wake up early every day, Monday through Friday, to go to work, on Saturdays you woke up early again to get ready, prep a bag for him, get food and snacks and things like that, to drop him off with somebody, and then make the journey up the road work out for a solid 50 minutes, be tired as I don't know what, and then another 45 minutes back down the road just to pick up your son who's wired because he just woke up, or he's, he just had breakfast and he's ready to go and have a fun-filled day because, toddlers don't like to take naps. And so the whole day Saturday was just like it could be a drain on your energy, but we were so focused on our goals that we knew that this is something we needed to do. Right,
There you go.
our families were so focused, were so invested in helping us that they understood what we were trying to do. They supported us in that, and so that they didn't take it as they were willing to help us out when it came to watching our son for a couple hours in the morning on a Saturday.
That's great.
When they would probably rather be sleeping in or doing something else, but they knew that we needed them for that, and so we appreciated them for that greatly. Yes.
Yeah, and that part right there, you would never know unless you ask.
Exactly.
So a lot of people who saying, I don't have that community maybe that you have, Ernest, or I don't have the person that I can lean on, whether it be for childcare or other things, maybe transportation or anything like that. Sometimes you just got to ask, and when somebody sees that the reason why you're doing what you're doing, they're more likely to help you and really be behind you and support you. Because the reason for you guys doing this, that nobody can really argue with that or be upset about that. And if they are, then you got to reevaluate that relationship.
Right. You trying to lose weight? What?
How dare you?
Yeah.
Get out of here with that. So, so for you guys to get up and down the road 45 minutes in the Northern Virginia area, which could turn into 90 minutes depending on what happens on the highway, on 95, wherever route you're taking, that shows a commitment, and that shows that you're serious about it, and you did spend a lot of energy, whether it be that day coming up there, because the flexibility of it was there were times where you said, hey, I'm running 20 minutes late or something like that because of the distance. And we still found ways to make that work. Yeah. And most of my clients are a lot closer than you. But for you, Ernest, you said this is probably what's going to work best for me. So you made that sacrifice. And that's something that we all have to look at when we're choosing a program or a trainer or a gym that's really going to work better for us. All right. So let's go into, what did you expect previously, before training, and what was the reality of it? And were there any differences in maybe what you thought and what you expected and what you've seen?
So going into it, I knew, because we've worked out before, just as friends going to the gym, doing some workouts. So I kind of had that kind of expectation of kind of what Wayne does in the gym. But this is when Wayne was, early 20s, so it was a lot different. He didn't have the knowledge that he has now. And so going into it, I expected, just we're going to go do some workouts. There would be an online plan, and I would just do workouts on my own. Going into it, I thought it was going to be I thought I could get something like a nutrition plan as far as like meals and things like that. And the workouts themselves, I anticipated something along the lines of, what you see on TV from a trainer, when you just put the weights on the barbell and you say, give me 15. And then you start pumping and you get down to 5 and you say 5 more. There you go. Get it up. Almost there. 1 more. All right. Get some water. Something like that. I've never been, seen it too much. You go to the gym and you see people working out with trainers and just these buff guys walking around with girls in leggings and stuff like that. So you're like, I don't know really what they're doing. Both of them look like they're in shape, so I don't know who's training who. But so I didn't really have an expectation going into it.
Okay.
Once we started, and I realized that, it was, the workouts were a lot more intense than I anticipated. your skill level from when you were 20 to when you were 32 was drastically different. Your knowledge base was drastically different. We weren't just doing sit-ups with dumbbells, twists at the top. You know, so
bench pressing twice a week.
yeah, we weren't just doing that. Yeah, so we did a lot more exercises. In the beginning, it was a lot of body weight things, and so it was, you know, I realized that my body could be used to do a lot of this stuff, and so flexibility was very important, and so that was something I didn't have a lot of in the beginning, and so I didn't realize how flexible I would need to be in order to do a lot of these things. I thought I was a lot more flexible than I was. I would say that. And then as far as the nutrition aspect of it, it was more of instead of giving you what you need to eat on these specific days, it was like these are the types of things you can eat whenever you want. This is what you need to be putting in your body. This amount of carbs, this amount of protein, this amount of fat, this amount of sugars, which your daily intake should be or whatever. And so it wasn't designed meal plans, but it was a nutrition, an entire nutrition kaleidoscope of things that you could that you could enjoy. And so it was, you can pick and play however you want to do it, but you want to make sure you stay in these parameters when you do that. And so that's something that, you know, we learned from the beginning. And as you go through the process, you kind of fall back to what do you call your baseline? Right. And I'm sure we get into that. You kind of fall back to your baseline, but as you go on the process, your baseline begins to shift closer to that more healthy thing. And so,
So really, really, what you were saying early on, maybe what your experience may have been with, you know, just hanging out, working out with a friend. And a lot of people do have that mentality when it comes to training, to where somebody will say, well, I'm just going to go to a gym, work out with a person, and then my body, mind are going to change and I'm going to have the desired result. And it's just not that simple. There is a lot of actual coaching that comes into play. So for us to start that journey and for you to see the difference is really huge. I see a lot of things on all the years that I've been in gyms. I've seen the examples of people who don't really seek a trainer or don't want a trainer, but probably need one. And you don't have to train with somebody for a year. It could be 4 sessions, but you're going to have so much more knowledge and understanding of what you're doing and why you're doing it, instead of kind of just playing around in the gym, what I would call it. And that is better than nothing. So, I mean, that's awesome that you are putting your foot forth and getting into the gym. But when you're doing it, you want to be efficient, because you don't want to waste your time, like you said, Ernest.
Yep.
A couple of examples I've seen in the gym are what we would call the fit friend and the not so fit friend. And that fit friend is fit and they're leading workouts, but they have no really professional experience or knowledge or certifications to really coach and train somebody. But they're helping their friend out, and you can see that, you know, they're not making any modifications or anything. It would be the equivalent of somebody working out with an athlete, and then the athlete just goes, all right, just do what I do.
Right.
That's not really going to work. There's people who can't squat. There's people who can't lunge and different things like that. And they need modifications, variations, and regressions, progressions, whatever it may be. And that's what you get from a professional. Mm-hmm. Another one I see is what you call the trainer boyfriend. And that is, you know, there's a woman in the gym and she's following the lead of her boyfriend or somebody that she's with, a male probably. And he has same thing previously, is that limited experience in the fitness field. And he is leading this workout. And again, it is not personalized or specialized, and maybe not necessarily always the best form. So you don't really want to get pulled into one of those situations to where you're following the lead of somebody who, you know, is the blind leading the blind right there.
Right.
So Gladly, you weren't doing that, Ernest.
Yes.
And even when we were working out previously, that was more of a friendship and kind of just hanging out, being healthy kind of thing. We
Right.
weren't really even working towards a goal or anything like that.
Yeah, no.
We were just wasting time before we went to go play an open gym.
Pretty much.
All right. So with that said, when I taking it to efficiency, there's an acronym I use, and the things that you should be getting from a quality fitness program or a quality trainer. You should be getting nutrition coaching. You should learn about intensity. You should be able to apply consistency. That should be a skill that you should acquire. And then all those things should be done in an efficient manner. So you got NICE right there: nutrition, intensity, consistency, and efficiency. So with all those things, they pretty much cover all those bases. And if you see yourself saying, I need help, I'm failing in certain areas, I need a trainer, you're probably failing in one or more of those areas. So for somebody to check all those boxes off, you're probably not going to need a trainer. And, you know, maybe for you, Ernest, the number one, thing that you were having and struggling with was the nutrition.
Yeah.
And then as we start to apply all these different pillars and really going through that, that's where people start to see success. And really the most important one after nutrition, I would say, is consistency, which for over 18 months you have applied, and that's why you see the long-term results.
Yeah, man. That's what I think I got the 300 plus workouts just on the app.
And the app, yeah.
Just on the app. So plus
there you
added
go.
what we did on Saturdays or whatever. So I'm probably pushing 400, 350, 400.
So now you're pushing 400 in a different way.
Hey, look at God.
Oh man. So within those things that you should be getting from a program, within that program, it should be goal specific. So if you are looking to get stronger, you are looking to lose weight, whatever it may be, that program should be specified and personal for you. That is what personal training is. There's a lot of boutique fitness in my area, up in the Northern Virginia area, Arlington, DC, not so much maybe further south where you are, Ernest. But even then, I mean, you guys have seen other things like Orange Theories, and, you know, there's different boxing classes and Zumbas and things like that. And that's what you would call group fitness. Personal training is not group fitness programming with one person. You're not just going to take the song and dance that you do as a group and just do it by yourself and think that that's personal training. Personal training is us getting to know you, understanding your limitations and your goals, putting together a program, training wise, that's going to have different aspects that are going to allow you to progress. So that's a huge difference right there. It's just not random exercise. It's kind of thrown together, and then, you know, you sweat, get a high five, and go home. Unfortunately, some trainers are doing that. Some people do think that is what personal training is, and unfortunately, that's where our industry does maybe get a bad name. So within that program, there's two principles that you should be seeing applied to your programming. Something called periodization, which is a cyclical structure. So it could be a certain amount of weeks to where you're doing a certain style of training, where there'd be a certain amount of intensity or volume. An example of that would be take an athlete, for example. The way somebody trains in the off season, it's not going to be the same way they train during the season. You're in the off season, you're going to look to put on muscle. You're going to have more intense workouts, but during the season, you're going to have games and practices. So it's going to be more of a maintenance routine, but you're still going to lift. All the athletes that you guys see, they're still doing things during the season, but they're just not looking to max out and really push the limits, because their priority is performance, not what they're doing inside the gym. So it's just those different things should be applied. And even if you're not an athlete and you are a regular person, an office worker, whatever phrase you want to use, general population, there still should be some changes and a application of periodization within your program. So, and we've played with a lot of different methods with that, Ernest. And I think also that allows you to learn, you know, to say, you know, this is how my body feels when I'm doing these different things. Another principle that you should be applying or see applied is progressive overload. And that is just basically over time, you are either lifting more weight, lifting that same weight more times. So you're increasing the volume, adding sets, adding reps, but you should be progressing and moving forward. And from my experience, that is something when somebody doesn't have a trainer and they're training alone, a lot of times men, they will still apply progressive overload. And whatever reasons we can get into why, whatever psychology it is, you know, it's like, I just want to, so a lot of times it's to their own detriment. Is it, you shouldn't be lifting that heavy, dog. You should take some weight off that bar because you're lifting with your ego right now and your form is suffering.
Right.
But with that said, that person is still pushing their body to change. On the flip side, from the female perspective, there is not that internal push for progressive overload. So it could be somebody, you know, doing a certain weight, and then that they stay doing that weight for weeks and months, and their body's not changing because there is a stigma of lifting heavier. And, you know, they may say that's not for me, or just not really fully understand that is how the body changes.
Right.
So applying progressive overload is what you're going to get from a trainer. And that is why you should see people's bodies consistently changing and not doing this kind of the same song and dance.
I mean, this is my favorite. This is one of my favorite things to do in the gym. As far as, you know, this is one of the things that motivates me to go to the gym, because as we go through our program, and I'm doing, you know, 35-pound dumbbells when we first kind of started, to doing 45s to 50s, and then, you know, when you can bench those 65 or those 70-pound dumbbells, you know, it motivates you, because you're like, man, there's no way I could do this, you know, 18 months ago.
Yeah.
There was no way I was getting this up with two hands, let alone one, right? And so that kind of thing, as you get stronger and you kind of feel your results, you might not see your results all the time. You might look in the mirror, or you might not be able to kind of see with the naked eye that you're stronger.
Yeah.
That you are, because it's inside of you, right? Because you're stronger inside.
There you go.
So that's one of those things. But when you actually are physically lifting it, and you're like, wait, this is too light. Like I'm not pushing myself. Let me put these down and let me go up 5 pounds, and let me see if I can do this. And so that's definitely one of the motivators to getting in the gym. And when you leave and you have that new personal best, or you've accomplished something that you thought was previously impossible. Not that you thought, it was previously impossible for you to do, and now you can do it. I mean, that keeps you, that motivates you to want to go again tomorrow. You don't want to have all of that.
Yeah, and having it, sometimes people do not come into the training with a strength goal or performance goal. Their goal is more based upon whether it be look or health, or, you know, scale or clothing size. But then once you get into actually training, and like you said, you can start to see those changes. Somebody will set a goal and say, you know what, I want to see if I can do 5 push-ups. I want to see if I can squat my body weight on the bar. And by having those performance goals, you're going to see and ensure that your body continues to change. So that's a good point, Ernest. Mm-hmm. So let's go from the inside the gym, and let's take it back to the nutrition aspect. There's a lot of coaching that goes into play, and what you touched on earlier was how the approach was habit-based and giving you some parameters and things to work within, versus giving you a exact what to do, when to do it program, excuse me. So for you to take a look at your habits prior to me just telling you what to do. How was that?
So when I was looking at my habits, I thought to myself, I'm not eating a lot. I don't eat a lot of food. Like I eat breakfast, I eat lunch, I eat dinner, and I might have a snack somewhere in between. So I'm eating 3 regular size meals. I'm putting air quotes around regular because this what's regular in America might not be regular for the rest of the world. So I'm eating 3 regular size meals and some snacks. So I don't eat a lot. Like when we order a pizza or whatever, I don't eat the whole pizza. I eat, couple 3 slices of pizza, whatever. When we go out to a restaurant, I'm not ordering, the 20-ounce steak and the 3 potatoes, and I'm not doing that. I feel like I ate a regular plate, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't eat a lot. So when I started looking at the numbers, okay, it wasn't that I eat a lot, because I wasn't eating a lot, but what I was eating was high in fat, high in calories. It was, I was drinking a lot of my calories. I was, going to, the coffee shop and getting high sugary drinks. I was drinking sodas. I was doing those types of things. So once I was able to cut those things out and start eating cleaner, I realized I wasn't eating enough. And so it was like, so when you started eating cleaner and, I was eating the vegetables and the fruits and things like that, I went from being, maybe 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day and not exercising to 1,200 calories a day and exercising. And so it was like, you got to eat more, bruh. Like your body is not going to, like, you might see the initial drop in weight because your body's like shocked, but it's going to plateau and you're not going to be able to do anything, right? So it was like, you need to eat more and you have to kind of really hit those numbers as far as those macros, as far as your protein and your.
But even prior to that, because that was the second step. We didn't even start with that. It was just saying, take lunch 2 times, 3 times a week.
Right.
That and the change, that change right there has nothing to do with logging food or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because if you do prepare the food that at home and you do keep it simple, there's no way that is going to compare to, whatever lunch options that you were doing prior, something like a Panda Express or something like that.
Right.
Well, all you're doing is making that substitution right there, and you're going to see results early on.
Mm-hmm.
Go get the water instead of the soda at lunch or, at dinner, whatever it may be. Don't get the breakfast sandwich, replace it with fruit for your breakfast or something like that. And those small changes are what has set the baseline. And now we are to the point where we look at the numbers behind it, understanding the calories, but just creating those changes in habits to where they become second nature.
Correct.
Because if I were to give you a meal plan, especially when we first started, 18 months ago, could you do it? Yeah. But what would you learn?
Right. And I wouldn't did it consistently. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. You would say that this is because now you're taking somebody who's pretty much doesn't have any structure, and you're giving them extreme structure. That is a regiment because it's rigid. And that is something that, unless you are an experienced person with a very, very serious goal, maybe that coaching strategy can be applied to you. Mm-hmm. But if you are not somebody who is a high level athlete, somebody who is within a physique contest or something like that, you're just not going to have the discipline to want to stay within that. It's not even about your want at that point. It's just your baseline is going to say, no, this is too much. I can't do that. So, for us to take it slow and keep it simple at first and take small steps and allow for some accountability and for you guys and also for you and your family to figure out how it's going to work. Right. And you and your wife have done that. And now we took it a step further where we can look at some calories and make sure that you're getting a certain amount of protein and staying within a carbohydrate goal, and that works. But when we put the cart in front of the horse and we only worry about calories, or we only worry about macronutrients, whether it be the carbs, which has become a 4-letter word, then you are almost in a sense doing things backwards. Because if I put you on a 1,600 calorie diet, not you, Ernest, because that would be too small for somebody of your size, and you say, all right, I got 1,600 calories. How many Doritos and how many sodas can I drink until I hit this calorie goal? That's not going to work out for you in the long run.
Boy, oh boy, tell me about it.
You could, depending on what you're doing previously, you could be in a caloric deficit and you may see some results, but you're not going to improve your health. You're not really going to change the composition of your body, because you're probably not going to have a proper distribution of macronutrients. You're not going to be getting any vitamins. So really what you're doing is just you're really trying to get something with a low level of effort. And that's not what we want. We want to say, I'd rather somebody be eating 3,000 calories of healthy food, and then we just say, let's eat less.
Right.
But that's never the case.
Right.
I've never had somebody come into the office or reach out online and say, man, I am 50, 60, 80 pounds overweight. My body fat percentage, depending what gender you are, my body fat percentage is in the 30s, in the 40s. And it's because I eat too much salmon. I eat too much chicken breast. I eat too much brown rice. Man, I just really go to town on these vegetables, and it's just not working out for me. That's never the case. So really, it is about the food choice. And that's why we approach that first. And I mean, right now, as we record this, you're drinking water, versus somebody else who's choosing other things to drink throughout the day. So that right there was a huge change. And now those things have stuck with you. And the beautiful thing is you're rubbing off on others around you. And that 2-year-old is now a 4-year-old, and he is learning things, and those things are being applied to his life to where it becomes second nature for him, because that's all he knows.
I think he's experienced a lot more vegetables in his life at the age of 4 than I probably had, before I was, maybe 10.
Yeah.
And he likes it. I want broccoli. I want broccoli tonight. I want peas tonight, so he's down for it.
And just from a parenting perspective, everybody has different taste buds. Yeah. Some people say, oh, my child is picky, they're finicky, but really, children, they're only going to be exposed to what we expose them to.
Right.
And when they see us doing things, they're going to want to do them. When you're smiling and happy that you're eating vegetables and fruit, and you're doing it, and it's not a big deal, and you're not making it an issue, and everybody in the family's doing it. It's not that dad doesn't eat this and mom eats it, or it is just a thing, to where there is a salad on the side, or there are these things available for snacks, and you're not thinking about it. And that child is going to just grow up in that. And yeah, maybe they don't like an orange as much as an apple, but still they're making that choice of eating an apple. They're not making that choice of eating popcorn or something like that. So with us and having those good habits, they start to rub off on those people that are close by us as well. So that's a huge change. And that goes back to our original conversation about you being there for your child, and you being there, but then also you teaching him a way of doing things so that he doesn't even have to worry about it.
Right.
He probably, to fast forward, when he is in his late 20s, early 30s, may not have to hire a personal trainer unless he has a more serious or more extreme goal,
right,
to where he is doing some high level athletics or something like that. But for him to maintain a baseline of a healthy body weight and all those things will be second nature to him. And that's the goal. So that really you've invested in yourself, but you've invested in the things that you will pass down to your children as well.
Yes, sir.
There we go. So really with that's the small part of nutrition right there. And then let's jump into it. When somebody's hiring a trainer, you didn't really shop around or anything like that because of our relationship, but a personal trainer is somebody who you should be on the same page with. While they are a coach and they are there to give you criticism, constructive criticism, you need to be a match. So, Ernest, why would you say that we work in terms of the training style and the personality style? Because I mean, I knew you for as long as I've known you, but I also train your wife, and we don't have that same relationship. I haven't known her the same amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of how does that match both of you guys?
So with me, I think it meshes well because, like you said, that friendship, that connection, and that bond that we have. So you're able to, probably talk to me different than you talk to some of your other clients. I would hope so.
You think so?
Yeah, I would hope some of the text messages I get aren't being sent to everybody.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to have any terrible Yelp reviews, so I gotta.
Right. But it's good though, because we're at a point, and I'm at a point in my life where the change needs to happen. And so when you see me not doing those things, not only from a professional standpoint, but a personal standpoint for you, it's a slap in the face, right? So it's like, hey, I'm trying to give you these things professionally because I want to help you out. But as your friend, I need you to be better, right? And so it's like, boom, take care of this, whatever, right? And so those things resonate well with me, so I can take that. I can take it. And so, you look at the message, you're like, this dude right here. But you're like, I can't fault you for it because it's the truth, right? You just, it's what it is, whatever. Like you said, he ain't gonna, like I said earlier, you're not gonna sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
He's gonna give it to me. And so, I think for my wife, it's the same way in regards to that, because you like I said, you don't sugarcoat anything. So sometimes she might get a message, or there might be a message sitting in the group thing, and so she hears it, but she's like, well, maybe it's this. I'm like, no, it's not that. it's what he said. Like, read it again, and then don't put your own spin on it. Like, just read it for what it is. And so it's one of those things where, her relationship with you isn't the same as me and yours. And so there can be a little bit of, it takes a bit to kind of swallow what you're saying and kind of take it in, but she gets it and she understands it. And so, there's times where, things are hard. You kind of plateau sometimes, and you have to push through that plateau. And when you feel like you're doing everything the right way and you can't push through that plateau, you feel, you get discouraged, and so it takes somebody that can, me and her are a team, so we can lean on each other. But when you're putting forth effort, energy, time, and money into this, your trainer has to be a part of that team too. So your trainer has to be someone that can help you push through that too. And I think that you've done a great job in helping us push through those plateaus, push through those discouraging times and discouraging moments, so that we kind of can see the light on the end of the tunnel, see what we are doing that is derailing us. And say, hey, let's do this better, and then see what's happening. Because there's times where we've plateaued, and you look at it and you say, well, what have you been eating for the last 2 weeks or whatever? Go back and look at your
food log.
Your food log, and you go back and look at the food log, and you realize, oh, I probably tracked 3 days in the last 14 days. Well, there you have it. So if your trainer doesn't know what you're eating and you don't know what you've been putting in your body, or you do know and you don't want to say it, that's probably why you're not seeing the results. So track your stuff the right way, do the program the right way, and see and live with the results. also you have to be like like Kobe said, rest in peace. You gotta trust the process. You have to enjoy the process. That's part of that Mamba mentality, right? So it's not just the end goal, but it's the work that you put in and day out, trusting that process and enjoying that process. And so we at a point now, I think, where we enjoy the gym, but you also want to see results on the back end. So as you get stronger and you can push yourself further and do more, those are some of the joys of the process. We're not at our end goal yet, so we're not, we haven't won the championship yet, but
Yeah.
we are, we're on a couple, 10-game winning streak.
Well, the thing about fitness and health, there is no finish line. There really is no championship, because you have to keep doing it. And, for somebody to hear that might sound daunting, to say, what, I have to keep doing this? But when you enjoy the process and it becomes second nature to you, where you guys are now, then it doesn't feel that way. Right. It just feels like, an example I use a lot of times with my clients are like, you take a shower daily, don't you? Minimum, depending on what you're doing, shower twice. But I've never heard anybody say, I don't have time to shower. I'm just so busy, I don't have time to shower. So it's the mindset and the way we look at things, to where somebody who is really health conscious and they do these things, they look at it as a shower. It's not a big deal. I need to get this done. For somebody else, it looks like, something that is going to take a lot of effort that they don't want to do. And then, they drag their feet, and there's a lot of emotional response that comes with that. So that just changing that perspective. And that's where you guys are, to where it has become that daily. And even, I'm not saying you got to work out every day, but 5, 6, 7 times a week, whatever is going on, even if you're not strength training, you're stretching. Unfortunately, what's going on in the world right now with all the social distancing and people working from home, you're going for walks daily, or you're going for runs daily, or bike rides. But you are incorporating health and fitness into your life daily in some capacity. You're not hitting an off and on switch. And that's something I use a lot with my clients, to where it shouldn't be an off and on switch. That's why I do have an app. That's why I do have a lot of different reading materials and sources that I use, resources that I use, because I don't want you to feel like you're going to have an off switch, So unfortunately, a lot of people have done crash diets. They've done 30-day fitness programs. And what happens, there's no coaching involved. And as soon as that day 31 comes, they hit the off switch. Yep. and then there's no, your baseline has not changed. And you actually feel worse, because now all those habits that you had previously are still there.
Right.
And you're like, man, I haven't cleaned my house. I just pushed some stuff into the closet. Yep. And now company left, and you got to deal with all that stuff. So to take it back to the personality thing, with the trainer, they should be somebody who helps you get through plateaus. They should be a cheerleader. My training style is more direct. My personality is that way, but it's not negative. And there's a difference. So the things that I am helping you with at those times is going to be positive. And you should be getting positivity in some form from that trainer. You shouldn't feel worse. If you were to hit a plateau or even have a fall off, you shouldn't feel worse or have that person, kind of pick on you in that time. They should be uplifting you, because you're going to get so much negativity outside of the trainer-client relationship, whether it be from coworkers, family, subliminal things from social media, TV. So why have somebody that you pay make you feel worse? Exactly. So, in terms of, you showed up late, give me 20 burpees and all that kind of stuff. You are not enlisted in the military. It should not be a drill sergeant style relationship, unless that is something that you absolutely enjoy, and that's what you want. But most times that is not the case. So if you are seeing a clash in personality with somebody that you've already hired, maybe sit down and talk to them, and that person will understand that maybe they need to ease off in certain areas and you guys can have a better working relationship. Another thing that you should be getting from your personal trainer, if we're doing things like progressive overload and you should be getting stronger, you should have somebody there to spot you. And that's what they're there for. So push yourself in your sessions with your trainer. Push yourself. If you feel like you can squeeze out that last rep, don't just put the bar down. Finish and push through, because that person is there. They have your back. They're there to make sure that you do these things safely. So I want you to push through that last set, and I'm able to help you lift the bar rather than you just put it down and not get stronger that day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's personality wise, and the things that you should get from training. What training is not is it is not a guaranteed for results. Sometimes people think once they've they've made that payment or they've signed that contract, they are all set.
Right.
I'm done here.
There we go.
I'll see you in 4 months. I'm going to be fit. That's just not the case. The case is you have to put that work in. And that's why you get credit when it's done.
Mm-hmm.
For you, Ernest, to be where you are, you and your wife, the progress that you have made, and for you to be 100 pounds down. Yeah, I gave you the tools. Mm-hmm. And, I helped you along the ride, but you did all the work.
Yep.
I've never came to your house and cooked before.
No.
I've never done that. So really all the work and the things that you've done have came from within, and you've done all that. So when people see your results and see the change, you earned it. Right. And that is what you should get from the trainer. Is not a guaranteed results. It's just somebody to guide you along the way, because I have a lot of different experiences with a lot of different people, to where you can pull from that and draw from that, to where I share things with you and say, I've had somebody in this situation before. Do this, or sometimes don't do this, because you can learn from people's mistakes as well. So the training is not sometimes what you see on TV, whether it be The Biggest Loser or some of these shows where you're on a crash diet, you got a crazy maniac yelling at you like a drill sergeant, and pretty much you're just stressed out and missing all the things that you used to enjoy. If that is your version of personal training, you will not be successful or enjoy the process.
Nope.
And it shouldn't be that.
Yep.
All right. So let's wrap that up. I think that was a good quality first episode of introducing both of us, introducing the concept.
Yes, sir.
Introducing both of us and introducing the concept of the podcast, Stronger Inside. So I appreciate everybody for listening, and I hope you're back again for our next episode. All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for listening to the Stronger Inside podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, follow us. If you're listening on Apple Podcast, then subscribe. Make sure you stay connected with us via social media on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Stronger Inside Podcast. Remember, every like, comment, and share spreads the message of health, fitness, and wellness.